Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has decided to not run for Senate in Georgia, and this is a massive break for the Democrats, probably just as big of a break as Chris Sununu deciding not to run for Senator in New Hampshire. The reason why it's a massive break is because now it is much more likely that Democrats keep the crucial state of Georgia, which they absolutely need to keep if they want to get the Senate in 2026. But more realistically, if Democrats are trying to flip the Senate in 2028, or even 2030, they'll need to keep this important seat of Georgia and not let it flip to Republican control. And John Ossoff was considered the most endangered Democratic incumbent next cycle, but Brian Kemp is not running. Which, without Kemp, we could see a more competitive Republican primary in Georgia because Kemp was going to be the front runner. And a clear primary is considered a bit of an advantage. Democrats probably not going to have a competitive primary because Ossoff is the incumbent. But Kemp was also the strongest Republican seen by many opponents. Um, uh, and that's about it for the article. Now I'm going to go on to why this news is bad news for the Republicans. So, Brian Kemp is a pretty popular governor in the state of Georgia. In 2022, Brian Kemp won re-election to the governor's seat by 7.5 points. This is important because in 2022, in the exact same election, Raphael Warnock won the Senate race by 2.8 points. Now, I know this is deceiving because it went to a runoff. But even in the first round, Warnock still won by almost a percentage point on the same ballot that Kemp was able to win the governor race. So clearly, this means that Kemp can win against Democrats. And I know that's not just Warnock winning against Republicans, because in 2020 we saw Ossoff win his election in that runoff, and in the presidential election, notice how Trump only won Georgia by 2.2 in 2024 after losing the state to Joe Biden in 2020. So Georgia is a state that is pretty much dead even between Republicans and Democrats. And we saw the effect of Raphael Warnock winning on the same ballot that Brian Kemp won. So he's popular. With this, I really don't think Republicans are going to be able to pick up any seats. Georgia and New Hampshire are probably their best two pickup opportunities, but the best candidate in these elections are not going to run. I don't think Minnesota is in play. Michigan, maybe. And keep in mind, North Carolina and Maine remain very vulnerable seats for the Republicans as well. This is great news for the Democrats.